Hi everybody, I'm RJ. I'm with the Happy Hen Hobby Farm in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, which is right over the Washington state border. And I wanted to talk about horse blankets and Think Like a Horse with Rick Gore. Now, he's a smart guy. I've read his website, actually read the whole thing. Great information. I've watched most of his videos. I don't think he's leading anybody wrong. I know how he feels about blankets for the most part, his opinion, but he's never said don't ever use a blanket. I did notice, however, on his website, on one of the YouTube videos, somebody posted on there that they want to know if they should put a blanket on their horse. That the horse was older and had some weight issues, and the horse was shivering, and she knows he doesn't like blankets, but wanted to know what he thought. Well, the answer is common sense. It's your horse, it's your environment. These guys almost never have blankets on. This week we went from just above zero, which they had no blankets, to minus 18 overnight. Literally, we had above zero in the daytime and heavy rain, which turned to wet snow, and then overnight we dropped down to minus 18 with high winds. Came out the next morning and they had icicles that they could not shake off. They were rolling in the dirt and shaking like wet dogs, and the ice wouldn't break away. So I groomed them out and put on lightweight blankets. Now when I'm talking lightweight, these are basically rain sheets. These are not insulated. This is Gemma. I'm on my horse, 9-year-old mare. And I can stick my hand under here. What you need to do, if you do put a blanket on your horse, make sure you stick your hand under there, not hot. And they shouldn't be wet. Once they get wet underneath the blanket, you have more of a chance of them getting pneumonia, getting sick, than you are of actually helping them. Now this is Silver. This is her 2-year-old colt. Same thing. Usually he won't keep a blanket on when you put one on him anyways. He finds a way to get him off every time and ends up wearing them like a scarf, which just become more dangerous than anything else. So he doesn't normally get a blanket. But again, the ice built up on the hair and he couldn't get it off. And then when I did try to groom it out, it was painful and he was not very happy about it. So again, this is basically a rain sheet. This is not insulated. This is a thin layer, and it's just helping him a little ward off some of the high wind, because with the minus 18 and high winds, it's a little much. Again, they're comfortable. They're not antsy. I did up their food. They're getting double the amount of food right now, because the way they're going to heat themselves more than your blanket or anything else is by eating. That's just the way it works for a horse. So stick your hands under the blankets. Always check. Make sure they're dry. Make sure that they're not hot. You know, if your horse is wet and the blanket's on, you're likely going to see steam. You're better off to take the blanket off. Now, in most cases, your blankets have leg straps. I'm going to tell you right now, his has leg straps. Hers do not, because he gets too playful and he jumps on her and he'll get himself. He's been tangled before in a leg strap, and I don't want to see a broken horse just because there's a blanket on him. So hers don't have leg straps. She doesn't care about her blanket. If it's on, it's on. She actually originally came from a much colder climate, so she handles this a lot better than he does. He's just young. Now, if your horse is shivering, if anything is shivering, to be honest with you, that is a sign of hypothermia. The body starts to shiver to try to raise the body temperature. You're burning more calories, using more energy, and it is hard on the system. So if your horse is shivering, use common sense, put a blanket on him. If you're having a problem with weight, then teeth probably need to be floated. There's things you can add to the diet just to help bulk them up. Wet beet pulp, never feed dry. Soak it, and I soak mine. If I have to use it, I soak it for a good 12 hours in a lot of water, so it's just mush. Beet pulp has a high risk of choking, so for the most part we don't use it. We used it a little last year. We had a really cold winter, and they got it as a bit of a supplement. Aside from that, make sure they're getting enough food, because that's what's going to do it for you. If the blankets are dirty, wet, take them off. It's going to be above zero this week, they're telling me, which again, I think that's pushed it somewhere in the low 20s for anybody in Fahrenheit. As soon as it's above zero, these blankets will come off. They don't need them. I'm just trying to help them a little bit with the high wind, because they will not go in their shelter when it's windy. They avoid the big trees. Animals are smart. They know what they're doing. So for right now, they're just staying close to the house. They usually, if it's raining, they're underneath their big trees, or they actually have a stall in around the corner there, but they won't go in it right now. It's too slippery getting over there, and they're avoiding the ice. The ground is frozen solid. On top of everything else, make sure you got lots of water. So Rick Gore, Think Like a Horse, he's a smart guy, and he's giving good advice. But, you know, you still got to use common sense, and I don't know what it's like in Texas, But right now, it's cold. And these guys have a blanket. Mild one. And it's Gemma Girl. Give them extra food. Make sure they're not shivering. If they're shivering, you got a problem. All right, good luck. Happy trails to everybody. Bye-bye.